Hello and welcome to this first edition of F1 News on my channel. And to kickstart things, I am going to talk about the first race of the season that Kimi Raikkonen won from Alonso and Vettel. Raikkonen said he was happy with an easy victory, which is pretty confident in my opinion for him. But he won the first race of the season from the drivers I just mentioned, and he won it mainly in my opinion. I think in most people's opinion, that because his car is much kinder on the tyres, he had to make one less stop than the other two, which kind of won the race because he had quite a big gap. I think it's 2 standard for a pit stop in Australia unless you make it quicker, and he won that race because of that. Even though his tyres were getting not quite bad, but they were getting much badder than Alonso's at the end, but he still managed to eke out the extra pace and set some very quick laps to increase the gap from 6 to 12 seconds. But a good race from Alonso as well. He fought up to second from fifth on the grid, which is what you expect from Alonso because he's just amazing. But the Red Bull doesn't look as quick race pace. It looks a bit slow. It finished 20 seconds with the pace. But the Ferrari's the opposite. It looks slow in qualifying compared to the Red Bull, but quicker in the race. But an overall good race from Lewis. I think he did quite well for his first race. Third in the grid, fifth in the race. Bit of a drop, but I think the Mercedes is kind of the same as last year. Slower in the race, quicker in qualifying. But on to the next topic, which is that McLaren will stick with their new car because the McLaren boss Martin Whitmarsh has said that they will stick with the new car because the rumours go in the paddock that McLaren will switch to last year's car because the cars are not competitive, and last year's car finished the race last season arguably as the fastest car on the grid. But just really add insult to injury, Jenson Button and Sergio Perez finished 9th and 11th respectively and starting 10th, 15th on the grid, which is pretty poor. And Jenson Button says that he's rejected by a lowly finish and he's still not happy even with the points, which I can understand because he really should be fighting for World Championship in a McLaren. Moving on to the next topic, which is that McLaren are sorry for a Mark Webber car fault. It's interesting, I didn't really understand it until I read it for a second time. But McLaren apologised because they supply the engine control unit to Mark Webber, basically. And it's a new one this year. And basically it's just a new version this year. It's just gone a bit wrong. But it was run for the first time many teams in winter testing in February, and also be used next season when a change of regulation ushers in a 1.6 litre V6 turbo hybrid engine, which is still sceptical about that rule because I think F1 should have the most powerful engines. I just don't know they got rid of V10s. But the final topic of the video is that I'll be discussing my predictions for the Malaysian Grand Prix. I'm just gonna guess it's gonna be rain at some point that weekend, and if it rains that weekend, I believe that maybe Jenson could sneak a podium with that if it rains that weekend, but I believe he won't be able to sneak it. But the top three for me, if it rains, will be Alonso first, Hamilton second, and Raikkonen third. But if it doesn't rain, I expect a Vettel victory with a I expect a Lewis second and a Massa third. I think Massa improved leaps and bounds this season, and I think he can still do it. And I think next race Vettel could scamper away with it, even though the Red Bull in Australia. I still reckon it can be a good overall car. But thanks for watching this edition of F1 News. It will return next week. It won't be any predictions next week, obviously, because the race is the week after. But it will be just covering the main news again, really. And I hope you enjoy this edition. Let me know what you think of the series with a like and a comment. And I will see you guys next episode.